Alrighty, folks, it is Friday, June 30th, 2023. Happy Friday to you. Weekend's finally here. I'm now hitting at 67%, my last 18 daily best plays on my website. We cashed in on the Houston Astros yesterday. We had a minus $1.10. Massive 14-0 shutout, blowout victory by the Astros over the Cardinals. Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman, they had 9 total ribbies between the both of them. Houston actually had 18 total hits in that ball game. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99 for 30 days of service. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a moment. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my MLB free pick video here today for Friday, June 30th, 2023. Once again, happy Friday to you. Weekend's finally here. You made it. You made it to the finish line. Now, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on these videos that I'm actually betting on personally, the only way to do that is to sign up for a membership on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And once again, folks, I'm hitting at 67% in my last $18.99 daily best plays on that site. And the good news is I have another $1.99 daily best play going off here today for just $1.99 for 30 days of service. And of course, if you want to access every single personal play of mine, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. You get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. I'm 3-0, my last 3 chairman plays in that membership alone. And you can see my documented record in all of those packages by becoming a member on that site. Now, I currently have over 570 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. And you may be wondering, why do I have to give Brock all of my info if I just want to see, who he's betting on? Well, the good news is I don't see any of it. I don't see any of your personal info. I don't see any of your credit card info. The only thing that I can see is your email address. It's a safe and secure website. All of your info is secure. I don't see any of it. Once again, the only thing I can see is your email address and whatever screen name that you provide. The guys over at Patreon, once again, they have a really good platform. I'm thankful they have such a good website for me to produce content on. They're doing a great job over there. And the best part about using Patreon is whenever I make a post, that post goes right to your email after the first day. So the picks actually go right to your inbox one day after you sign up. Real easy for you to use. And with that, folks, we haven't done this in a while. We're going to jump into some shout-outs. Shout out to John Rodriguez, who said, "Brock'em sock'em or jump off a bridge." Also want to give a shout out to iCap for Dollars, who said, "You're the man, Brock." And finally, want to give a shout out to Dub Sachs, who said, "Way too much talking in the beginning now." And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our free content finally. We're going to start off with the Guardians at the Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's minus $1.65, totals 8.5. Justin Steele for Chicago, Cal Quantrill for Cleveland. And out of 59-plus innings of work, Quantz has just 2 wins on his record. The righty has a bad 5.61 ERA and a bad 1.42 whip. And even if Quantz throws like a man here today, the Guardians hit like little boys. They're in the bottom 5 in run production. They're going to have to face Justin Steele, who's been pretty dominant on the mound for Chicago. It's been kind of I don't want to say a lone bright spot because they got some things to work with, although their record, doesn't indicate that. But the lefty Steele's been really good. He's got an 8-2 record with an ERA of 2.62. And even though the Cubbies have struggled recently, They still do a nice job of scoring at Wrigley. They're a top 10 run producing lineup at home. Nico Hoerner's the team leader in RBI and hits. Chris Morales, 13 homers and an OPS in the 900s. Wisdom and Rios are still out for Chicago. Seiya Suzuki's questionable. 4 out of Chicago's last 5 at Wrigley stayed under the number. They're also 80% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, Justin Steele's also seen the under cash in 7 out of his last 10 starts. Give me the Cubs minus 165, under 8.5. Next game, Padres-Reds, 5:10 Eastern first pitch. San Diego's minus 135, totals 11. Seth Lugo for San Diego, Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati. And as bad as Ashcraft's been, the Reds continue to roll as a team. They got the W in 7 out of their last 10, and they averaged just about 7 runs a game during that time frame. Spencer Steer's the club leader in hits. Jake Fraley's got the most RBI on the roster. They're facing a Padres team on the other side who's playing some pitiful baseball at the moment. They're on a 5-game skid. Also took the loss in 8 out of their last 10. And out of those 8 losses during that stretch, these Pods hitters averaged just 2.6 runs a game. But that really shouldn't surprise anyone. The Pods do have a bottom 3 hit-producing lineup on the road. Starting pitcher Seth Lugo, he's been lackluster at best. He's just 3-4 on the season with an ERA in the 4s. Now, 5 out of San Diego's last 7 road games did get over the total. Cincinnati went 7-3 the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Reds plus 1.5, over 11. Next contest, Nats Phils, 6:05 East. Philadelphia is minus 175, totals 9. Chris Sanchez for Philadelphia, Josiah Gray for Washington. Now, Gray's got a handful of wins on the season and an ERA in the 3s. Now, as a team, the Nats won 4 out of their last 5. They averaged 5 runs per contest during that span. Lane Thomas leads the roster in hits, homers, and RBI. Joey Meneses has the second highest batting average in the lineup today, with 39 total ribbies. Now, they're facing Chris Sanchez on the other side of things, and he's got just 13-plus innings of work under his belt with an ERA in the 4s. And out of 18 contests this year against the NL East, the Phils got the W only 7 times, not doing a great job in divisional play. They're currently in the bottom 5 in the National League in strikeouts per 9 at the dish at home. C.J. Abrams, questionable for Washington. Robles and Pineda still out. 4 out of Washington's last 6 road games did get over the total. They also went 6-3 to the over in their last 9 Josiah Gray starts. Now, the Phillies saw 7 out of their last 10 ball games against Washington get over the total as well. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Give me the Nationals plus 1.5, over 9. Next matchup, little NL Central ball game here. Brewers Pirates, 7:05 East. Milwaukee's $1.40 on the road, totals 8.5. Freddie Peralta for the Brewers, Ozzie Beto for Pittsburgh. And even though Beto's got under 16 innings of work under his belt, he has fanned 18 batters already and has an ERA in the 3s. So doing a pretty good job in a short body of work. Now, the Buccos are coming fresh off a 3-game sweep of the Padres. They scored 21 total runs in those 3 victories. Jack Swinski, he's the team leader in homers. Andrew McCutcheon's walked 47 times and has 104 total bases. Now, they're taking on a Brewers club who can't hit for shit. These guys average fewer hits per 9 than any other lineup in the National League. And even if the Brewers can get some base runners today, starting pitcher Freddie Peralta is capable of blowing it. He's 5-7 on the season with an ERA of 4.65. Tyrone Taylor is still out for Milwaukee. Reynolds and Hayes inactive for Pittsburgh. The Pirates went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Milwaukee saw 5 out of their last 7 road games stay under the number themselves. It can be Pittsburgh plus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Next ball game, Twins O's 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's minus $1.15, totals 8.5. Dean Kramer for Baltimore, Pablo Lopez for Minnesota. And out of 96 innings of work this year, Pablo Lopez has recorded just 3 wins. He's got a 3-5 record and a 4.41 ERA. Now, these Minnesota hitters have also been brutal at the dish. They're striking out a league worst 10.5 times a game on the road. Actually, I think it's more than that. I think it's more like 10.7 times a game. But anyway, we're talking 10.5 times a game they're striking out away from home. Now, they're facing Dean Kramer on the mound for Baltimore, who's got 77 strikeouts on the year himself. Now, Krames also comes into today's start with an 8-3 record on the year. And even if Cosmo struggles on the mound, the O's have little issue touching home plate. They're a top 10 run-producing team. Austin Hayes, he's the club leader in batting average and hits. Anthony Santander, he has the most RBI and homers on the roster. Now, unfortunately, McCann and Mountcastle are still out of the lineup for the O's. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, Polanco and Gordon still inactive. 5 out of the Twins' last 6 road games did stay under the total. They also averaged just 3.4 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the O's. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Now, no real shock here. 7 out of those 10 head-to-head meetings I just mentioned between these two franchises stayed under the total. Give me Baltimore minus $1.15, under 8.5. Next matchup, AL East action. Red Sox Blue Jays 7:07 East. Toronto's $1.40 at home, totals 9. Jose Barrios for Toronto, James Paxton for Boston. And even though Pax has been solid, the Bo Sox are playing like dog shit. They're on a 5-game skid, and they average just 1.8 runs a game during that time frame. And in their last 10 divisional road games, the Bo Sox got the W only 3 times. They're taking on a Toronto team who loves to pound the baseball. These guys are in the top 3 in the bigs in hits per game. They're also in the top 5 in the American League in team OPS average. Bo Bichette, he has 110 hits on the season. He's got the 4th highest batting average in the bigs. Meanwhile, Vlad Guerrero leads the organization in runs batted in. And even if the Jays struggle at the plate, starting pitcher Jose Barrios has been real good on the bump. He's 8-5 with an ERA in the 3s. The righty's also 13 strikeouts shy of the century mark. Kevin Kiermaier is still questionable for Toronto. Masataka Yoshida is questionable for Boston. 4 out of the Blue Jays' last 6 at home fell under the number. They're also 25-13 of the under in all of their contests at the Rogers Center. Give me Toronto minus $1.40, under 9. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Giants at the Mets, 7:10 Eastern start time. San Francisco's minus $1.20, totals 9. Alex Cobb for San Francisco, Carlos Carrasco for New York. Now, Carrasco's recorded only 2 wins through 48 innings. He's also got an ERA in the 6s, along with a 1.56 whip. Now, these Mets batters have also had a tough time in Flushing, Queens. Their bottom 5 hit-producing team on their own diamond. Now, they got to face Alex Cobb here today, who's got just 2 losses in 78-plus innings. The righty's got an ERA of 3.09 and averages just about a strikeout an inning. Now, the Giants have also had no shortage of run production in their travels this year. These guys are in the top 3 in the bigs in runs per game on the road. Thairo Estrada leads the team in hits. J.D. Davis leads the roster in runs batted in. Now, Conforto's questionable. Yastrzemski's still out. The Giants' last 3 straight road games all stayed under the total. They're also 60% of the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Mets saw their last 4 straight in Flushing, Queens, stay under the total themselves. Give me the Giants minus $1.20, under 9. Next matchup, NL East action, Marlins at the Braves, 7:20 Truist Park. Atlanta's minus $1.85, totals 10. Mike Soroka for Atlanta, Brian Hoeing for Miami. Now, the Ho Dogs looked pretty good in a handful of starts for the Fish. He's recorded only one loss through 35 innings. He's also got an ERA in the low 2, so not a huge body of work, but certainly making the most of it. And when it comes to getting base runners, this Miami lineup has little issue getting on the base paths. They're a top 5 hit-producing team in the National League. Luis Arias bats a league-best .392. Jorge Soler is the team leader in homers and runs batted in. Now they're taking on Michael Soroka, who's looked pitiful in a couple of outings. He's got an ERA of 8.38 through just 9+ innings of work. Gurriel and Cooper are questionable for the Marlins. Miami's 9-4 to the over in their divisional road games. They also saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Atlanta get over the line. The Braves are 10-4 to the over against divisional opponents at Truist Park. Give me the Marlins plus 1.5 over 10. Next ball game, Astros Rangers 8:05 East. Texas is minus 155, totals 9. John Gray for the Rangers, Ronel Blanco for Houston. Now Blanco's got an ERA of 4.63 along with a 1.51 whip. The Astros have also lost in their last 3 straight Blanco starts. They're facing the best hitting lineup in the league right now in Texas. Adolis Garcia, he's tied for the league lead in RBI. Corey Seager's hitting .345 with an OPS in the thousands. And even if for some reason they struggle at the dish, which I don't think they will, but the Rangers are in good hands with their starting pitcher here today, John Gray. Gray's 6-3 with an ERA of 2.89. And no real shock here, folks. The righty Gray's got a stingy 1.05 whip. Now, Brad Miller is still out for Texas. Yordan Alvarez inactive for Houston. 7 out of the Astros' last 10 outings did get over the total. Meanwhile, the Rangers saw their last 4 straight at Globe Life Field get over the line themselves. Give me the Rangers minus $1.55 over 9. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Tigers at the Rockies, 8:10 Eastern start time. Colorado's minus $1.20, totals 11.5. Austin Gomber for Colorado, Michael Lorenzen for Detroit. Now Lorenzen's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.16 whip. These Detroit pitchers have also done a nice job on the road this year. They're actually in the top 10 in fewest hits allowed while traveling. They're also walking just 2.7 batters a game away from home as well. That's that's nearly a league best in that particular category. Now, Detroit's taking on a Colorado lineup who's in the bottom 5 in walks per game at the dish. Meanwhile, as a team, the Rockies lost 7 out of their last 10. They gave up a ridiculous amount of runs in that process. Austin Gomber has certainly been no exception to that. He's got 7 losses on the year with an ERA in the 7s. This Colorado pitching staff as a whole, they allow a league-worst 10.9 hits a game on their own field. Blackman and Bryant are still out for Colorado. Riley Green still inactive for Detroit. Now, the Tigers' last 4 straight on the road did get over the posted total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Tigers plus $1 over 11.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Dodgers at the Royals, 8:10 Eastern start time. Now, the Dodgers are minus 220 on the road, totals 9.5. Bobby Miller for Los Angeles. Looks like Alec Marsh is making his major league debut for Kansas City. Now, the 25-year-old Marsh, he had a 4.62 ERA in the farm system this season. And he's actually just 8-23 overall in his career in the minors with an ERA close to 6. He actually went a combined 2-16 last year between his AA and AAA stints. The Royals as a team, they have the second fewest wins in the bigs and a 284 win percentage. Now they're facing a Dodger team who hits better than most clubs in the National League. They're in the top 3 in the National League in run production. Freddie Freeman's in the top 3 in the entire majors in both batting average and OPS. We got Mookie Betts is in the top 5 in the National League in home runs. This could be like batting practice here today, going against the youngster. Now, injury-wise, Chris Taylor is still out for the Doyers. Nicky Lopez questionable for Kansas City. 6 out of KC's last 10 ball games did get over the total. Meanwhile, the Dodgers went 60% to the over in their last 10. Like I said, they should be able to put this one over themselves. Should be like BP facing this Marsh kid. Could get ugly. Give me the Dodgers -1.5 over 9.5. Next matchup, Yankees, Cardinals, 8:15 East. The New York Yankees are -120 on the road. Totals 9.5. Matthew Liberatore for St. Louis. Luis Severino for New York. Out of 36 innings of work this year, Severino's recorded only 1 win. He's got a 5.25 ERA and a 1.50 whip. The Yankees have also got themselves one of the worst hitting lineups in the game. They're in the bottom 3 right now in hits per contest. They're facing a Cards team who won 6 out of their last 10 themselves. They've also had little issue getting base runners at Busch Stadium. They're a top 5 hit-producing team on their own field. Nolan Arenado's the club leader in homers and RBI. Paul Goldschmidt's the team leader in hits. Now, injury-wise, Anthony Rizzo's doubtful for New York. Judge, Allen, and Calhoun and Peraza still inactive. 3 out of Severino's last 5 starts got over the total. Meanwhile, the Redbirds on the other side, they are 64% to the over in their interleague home games. Give me St. Louis +$1 over 9.5. Next contest, D-backs, Angels, 9:38 East. LA's -$1.55 at home, totals 9.5. Griffin Canning for the Angels, Tommy Henry for Arizona. And out of 62 innings of work this year, the lefty Henry's recorded only 1 loss. He's 4-1 on the season. He's also left-handed, so probably a better matchup against Shohei Ohtani. And regardless, even if Shohei has no problem with Henry, I still think Arizona can potentially outscore the Angels here. The D-backs actually lead the majors right now in runs per game away from home. Ketel Marte is the team leader in hits. Christian Walker's the club leader in RBI. Now, they're taking on an Angels club who lost 6 out of their last 9. They've also got a losing record at home against National League competition. And as dangerous as these guys are at the dish, they're actually averaging just 7.9 hits a game at Angel Stadium. Rendon and Neto are still out for Los Angeles. Corbin Carroll is questionable for Arizona. The D-backs are 23-15 to the over when they bat first. We're also 70% to the over in their last 10 Tommy Henry starts. Give me Arizona +1.5 over 9.5. Next contest, White Sox, A's, 9:40 p.m. East. Now, this game's currently off the board. Looks like Tanner Banks is possible for Chicago. Luis Medina for Oakland. Now, Medina's just 1-7 with an ERA close to 7. Now, the A's also have the worst record in baseball, and they score the least amount of runs. They're facing a White Sox team who won 4 out of their last 6, and they average nearly 8 runs a game in those victories. Luis Roberts in the top 3 in the American League in home runs. He's also the club leader in hits. Andrew Vaughn's the team leader in RBI. Moncada and Gonzalez out for Chicago. Smith and Laureano inactive for Oakland. Give me the White Sox getting the job done for some money line cash. With that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that Rays-Mariners game, 10:10 Eastern first pitch. Tampa Bay is -$1.35, total 7.5. Shane McClanahan for Tampa Bay, Bryce Miller for Seattle. And even though Miller's pitched really well this year, the M's have taken the loss in 6 out of their last 9. They also have one of the worst hitting lineups in the majors. They strike out more times a game than any other lineup in the AL West. Now, they're facing Shane O'Mac here today, who's fanned 100 batters already and has a dominant 11-1 record. Now, the lefty's also got a 2.23 ERA and a 1.11 whip. Now, he's also backed by the highest run-producing lineup in the AL East. Yandy Diaz, he's in the top 5 in the American League in batting average and OPS. Meanwhile, Wander Franco's the team leader in hits. Now, Seattle's 61% to the under against American League competition at home. They also saw 6 out of their last home meetings with Tampa Bay stay under the number. Give me Tampa Bay minus $1.35, under 7.5. And with that, folks, now it is time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Chicago Cubs minus 165, under 8.5. Cincinnati Reds plus 1.5, over 11. Washington Nationals plus 1.5, over 9 runs. I'm hitting at 67%, my last $18.99 daily best plays on my website. And the good news is I have another $1.99 daily best play going off here today for just $1.99. Pittsburgh Pirates plus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Baltimore O's minus $1.15, under 8.5. Toronto Blue Jays minus $1.40, under 9. San Francisco Giants minus $1.20, under 9 runs. Miami Marlins plus 1.5, over 10. Texas Rangers minus $1.55, over 9. Detroit Tigers plus $1, over 11.5. LA Dodgers minus 1.5, over 9.5. St. Louis Cardinals plus $1, over 9.5. Arizona Diamondbacks plus 1.5, over 9.5. Give me the White Sox of Chicago getting the job done for some money line cash with my next and final free pick for the video. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays minus $1.35, under 7.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. One final reminder, guys, if you do sign up for a membership on patreon.com/BrockPage, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, guys, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that chairman membership, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get full access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.